I'm the VP of Publicity. What about the rest of you? So like Noel.
Okay,
Malia.
I'm Dr. Miguel Bermeo. I'm gonna talk with you about the things that I know about coming to this country as a foreign medical graduate, and hopefully I can guide you a little bit. Okay?
Yeah, of course. And I know that there was a little bit of a confusion with the Zoom link, so there should be still some members that are trickling in. I'm just gonna help them out real quick. Thank you for the patience. Just talk about your experience, because I know you have a lot of cool and broad experiences. So talk about your story. What got you to where you are today and why?
Well, basically, I obtained my diploma from Indiana University here in Indianapolis, but I graduated from Central University in Ecuador in South America. So I spoke Spanish, and I know a little bit of French, Italian, Portuguese, but English was the most difficult language that I've ever learned. Why? Because grammatically speaking, doesn't make sense. Okay, but we tried to do the best. It was very hard. When you come in from a foreign country, okay, your documentations are very difficult to be legalized. I don't know why my wife's name is there, but it's okay. I'm Miguel. Okay, you have to apply for the. Since you graduated from a medical school that it's accredited, okay, you come in and you start with the USMLE. Have you heard about that? Okay, it's the United States Medical Licensing Examination, okay? And there are 3 steps, okay? The first one is the most gruesome of all of them, okay? I thought that I was going to pass it with flying colors because, come on, I had been in medicine, I did a residency already, and I thought that I was going to pass it. No way, I failed it royally, but royally, oh yeah. So you have to have a certain score to pass that test. I think that now is pass or fail. I don't know if that's the case. I'm way far removed from that time. So I went to Kaplan University. I don't know if you're familiar with that, for a test prep. Okay. It was very expensive, but it was worth it. Okay. Because it let me put the foot in. Okay. And then with that experience, I guided myself with Kaplan courses for step 2. And step 2 is divided in 2. In my time, it was divided in 2 sections: the CSA, the clinical assessment exam, and the normal multiple choice question. And when you pass USMLE step 1 and USMLE step 2, you are able to apply for a residency position in any residency program that is accredited by the Council of Medical Graduates. Okay. So I'm telling you this after you already graduated from med school. Okay. Now, you are pre-med, correct? What is the age range that I have here of you guys? Because you look so young and I look so old.
I'm actually 20.
You're 20, okay. 20. I don't know the names, so let me see. Malia, Noel.
Yeah, I'm 20.
I'm 20, okay. 23, and Hannah?
I'm 18.
18? Oh, you are a baby, good. And Alexis?
I'm 19.
19, and I think that I have, oh, hi, Risa.
I'm also 19.
Very good. Okay, guys, very good. So we have an age range that's basically starting, okay? And it's very good that we start with this. Why? Because I have to tell you one thing. I didn't have this when I started. And I didn't have computers, okay? I barely had a brick cell phone. Remember the cell phones that were before that look like you're gonna detonate a bomb, okay? Those are the ones that I used to carry, okay? It was funny. and you thought that you were sexy with that thing. It was like a brick. But anyway, but I didn't have that. Why? Because I had the guidance of my family. My brother was an OBGYN, he's an OBGYN, okay? And I wanted to be like him, and I became an OBGYN, obstetrics and gynecology. And I used to take care of very high-risk pregnancies, specifically gestational diabetes. And in the mixed, we do a lot of subspecialty with gynecological surgery, okay? But that's way, way, way before. When you start thinking, if you want to go into medicine, okay? Medicine is not what it used to be 50 or 60 years ago. Okay, I was talking with Rodrigo yesterday a little bit, and I let him know that basically the medical career nowadays is for a gypsy doctor, okay? And it's ideal when you are single. Why? Because first of all, you are not gonna have a life. Put it for granted. Well, everybody's partying, you're studying, okay? Of course, if you wanna go, go. You will see your results in your exams, and that's gonna be painful, okay? Because everybody can do. There are different types of learning, like I talked with Rodrigo, okay? Different types of learning. You can learn by doing, you can learn by seeing, but in my case, I had to do everything. Why? Because I didn't speak English. And that's very hard. Why? Because if you want to be a doctor in America, guess what? You have to speak English. And the first thing that you have to do is to pass the TOEFL. And the TOEFL is not an easy exam for foreigners. Because as I said before, English is a beautiful language, but it doesn't make sense grammatically. And if your native tongue or your maternal tongue is Spanish, you are more prone to learn Latin languages, okay? Anglo-Saxon, difficult, very difficult. And then everything is up for interpretation, like we talked with Rodrigo. So multiple choice questions. You have an advantage if you were born here in the States. If you learn English as a second language when you were a kid and you have a lot of time, okay? Why? Because you're gonna catch the slang. Because they put a clinical vignette. You know what a clinical vignette is, correct? Now, clinical vignette is basically what the header of the question. Okay, I used to write questions as well, okay? The header of the question, they give you a bunch of mumbo jumbo, okay? To distract you. That's simple, to make you waste time, okay? And then you have to train yourself to find the keywords, okay? That you correlate, and that you learn with practice. Practice, 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 practice. I have done 1 trillion questions in my life, okay? Which are painful, yes. But I did it when I was younger, when I didn't have a family, where I was able to move, okay? And I didn't care. Why? Because when you get into medicine, you start getting into the rhythm, okay? And you cannot wait when you wake up at 4 in the morning. Man, I had to be in the hospital to round at 5:30, and everything has to be done by 7 because the attending comes on 7, and you have to round with the attending, and you have to know perfectly each and every one of the patients with all the things that they have and how you're going to treat them. Okay, and now if you have a very busy service, like it should be in a university-based program, okay, then you have to multitask. So the stress is coming in, and then you will start gaining weight, okay, losing hair, okay, and it's normal, okay, it's normal because life happens. Now, if you're gonna get in medicine for the money, don't do it. Don't do it, because it's not like that, not anymore. Of course, if you want to be a neurosurgeon, go ahead, my goodness, okay? but it will be another 15 to 20 years of working your butt off until you get there. Okay, but if you do it and you're consistent and persistent, you will get the reward. Okay, my reward is up there. I don't know if you can see it right there. That is my wife pregnant and my little baby kissing her belly. Okay, that is my reward, my family. And one thing that I lost in all of this, because when you receive your first check from having nothing to being an attending, oh boy, everything comes up and you tend to lose your north. One thing that I want you young guys is to understand, money is good. Yes, I'm not saying no, but it's not 100%. What we need to learn nowadays is bedside manners. What you need to know is how your life is gonna impact that person that depends on you, that person that is trusting you with their care. Why? Because they are lay people, they don't know, okay? And they think that you know, but sometimes you don't know either. Because that is called practicing medicine. You practice, and practice makes perfection. Nobody's perfect, okay? Me, I'm not perfect. God, no. Okay, so that's the first thing. Verify and have a talk with yourself. Okay, I don't know, in a special place in front of the mirror, and decide why I want to be a doctor. Okay, I want to be a doctor for this reason, for this reason, for this reason. Okay, perfect. Now, how am I gonna do it? All right, because everything is fine and dandy until you decide to go in. How are you gonna do it? Do you have $175,000 laying aside for you to go into med school? That's the cheapest one. Because if you have to go into med school, depends where you go, where you are accepted, okay? When you take your MCATs, I think it is correct. So you have to think in housing, clothes, books. You have an advantage now, kids. This, computers. You are a wizard. You know where to look for, okay? I had to learn all of this. In my time, when I was going to med school, I had to go to the library and I had to get the card and I had to go and look into the index. And then with the card and the index, go to the, have you seen Harry Potter? Yeah, well, of course you have, come on. That's how I look for books. Okay, and when you get the book, guess what? It's not that you're gonna have only 50 pages to memorize. It's 5, 7, 8 chapters, and each chapter is 80 pages. So you have the book, and now what are you gonna do? Are you gonna sit down in the library all night long? They will kick you out. Yeah, so then start your training. Taking the best things out. Making the learning your way. Even if it's silly. Like yesterday, I told Rodrigo, I used to make rhymes. Okay, and I used to make rhymes of the things that I hated the most. I hate neurology. Oh God, yeah, I do. But I forced myself to make rhymes. For example, you can Google it. It's glioblastoma. Okay, glioblastoma is a really bad brain tumor. And it has so many characteristics that you have to remember. Why? Because you will be tested on that. It's not that they are needed, but you're gonna be tested on that. So you have to make it fun. And after this, probably you will remember glioblastoma for the rest of your life. Why? Because glioblastoma we fear, like a bomb, was exploding too near. Giant cell mitosis, paleocytic necrosis, surviving is only 1 year. Boom. Everybody around me thought that I was crazy, that I was childish, that that I didn't take serious these things. But that's my way of learning. I used to make flashcards. I don't know if you've seen those guys. Those guys. I used to take the bus a lot because I didn't have a car. Okay, because I didn't have the cachola. So I used to have a bicycle. Yeah, ride a bicycle in winter is awesome. Okay, you end up with certain parts of your body frozen, but you do it, and you learn to save money. One thing that you have to learn from the get-go, if you get into med school, be frugal. Save for what is it called? Oh my goodness, I just have a brain fart, sorry. Disability insurance. Okay, disability insurance is very, very important, especially if you start early. Why? Because sometimes we don't have our health complete. For example, you want to be Myla. Can I call you Myla?
It's Malia.
Malia, okay, Malia,
Yeah.
okay. For example, you want to be a surgeon and you relied on your hands, correct? What if in your past, your great grandma had rheumatoid arthritis and you're lucky enough to get it at the age of 35, just when you're graduating? What you gonna do? Yeah, doing the surgery with your hands, it's gonna be painful, you know, not to mention dangerous. But anyway, so you get disability insurance, but read the fine print. Every time that you do something legal, read it, because we are not lawyers. And lawyers are very smart. Okay, sorry about that. Someone tries to call me. Anyway, read the fine print. Why? Because disability insurance is not that if you lose your hand, okay, for any reason, they are gonna give you what you pay for. They will give you a percentage of it. So you've been paying all of these years and all of a sudden you don't have a hand and you receive only $1,200 a month. It's not a business, correct? So you have to take care of yourself in the process of getting to become a doctor. Treat yourself well, okay? And I'm guilty. I'm a foreigner. I didn't have money. I didn't have money at all, okay? So I used to be the ones that used to get to the hospital very early. Not to mention that I was in disadvantage because I didn't speak English very fluently. Now I can say that I can grasp a little bit better. And I used to get in, and then I used to go to the cafeteria and get something that maintained me, okay? That's the way that I save money, believe it or not. Why? Because your goal is when you graduate to not have a huge student loans bill, because it will haunt you at least for 15 or 20 years after your graduation. Okay, so I think that I have give you some pearls right now of what to do. Do you have any questions?
I actually have a quick question.
Tell me.
When you were saying about the disability insurance and how it's important.
That's way far from now, okay? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But something that's always been in the back of my mind is that when I become a doctor in a hospital, someone's life is going to be in my hands, and you guys work so many hours. How do you deal with making mistakes?
Mistakes happen, okay? You don't try to make them, but mistakes happen, okay? You try to minimize the mistakes. We're human after all, okay? And one thing that you have to remember is, yes, now I think that they have the 80-hour rule. When I was a resident, I didn't have the 80-hour rule. 80-hour rule is that you cannot work more than 80 hours a week. I used to put between 86 to 92 to 103 hours a week. Okay. And that's dangerous. Why? Because you become a zombie. You become a zombie. And those had been related to more mistakes. Okay. The goal of medicine is prevention. Preventive medicine is cheaper than treatment by far. So what we want is for the new generations like you, practice prevention and be honest with yourselves. Why? Because if you don't know it, own it. I prefer for you to tell me, I don't know it. Hey, I have to review that. Can you guide me? Excellent. And we sometimes, the attendings, sometimes they don't know it either. So both of you can go and say, okay, we have this patient, you know, this patient, she is, her BMI is 72, she is 45, she shouldn't be bleeding that much uterine. She had uterine cancer. What do you think? So what do you do then? You go and study. You go and research. What are the best tests for this lady? What are we gonna do? What is the first step? And that is what the standardized tests will do for you. Train you to prioritize things, okay? Because when I used to do the tests, okay, I used to put the multiple choice that were so similar to the answer. They were truthful, okay? But only one was more than 85% truth. And that's too bad. Why? Because that's splitting hairs. Like I told Rodrigo yesterday, you know, the standardized tests sometimes cripple good students. Why? Because you go to, like I gave you the example, Albert Einstein actually said that. If you test all the animals, including the fish, how do they climb a tree? The fish will think that he's an idiot for the rest of his life. And it's not true. It's not true. Okay, so you have to learn from your failures because you will fall many times. Trust me, you will. The goal of this is to get up, stand up and say, okay, yeah, look at that. I fell on that. Let's try to do it again. Okay, now that you're young. Because my late father, unfortunately, he passed away last year. He used to say, son, right now, you are in the country and you are basically putting the seeds on the floor. The harvest would come later. And the harvest came in because I worked. I was able to do the things that I wanted. Okay. But anyhow, what else? TikTok, TikTok.
What does your daily schedule look like? Also, what type of doctor are you? Are you still a OBGYN?
Well, I used to be an OBGYN. Okay. Now I work for, I'm a contractor. Okay. I work for a company that is hired by CMS, Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services. I am a medical auditor. You know what is that? Okay. So a medical auditor checks on doctors. Why? Unfortunately, we work for insurance companies and Medicare and Medicaid because there is a lot of fraud, abuse, misuse of resources, okay? And this job used to be done by nurses, and nurses did an excellent job, but they wanted doctors to see and review all the codes that we have, okay? And why did I do this? Let's work on my part. I work 36 to 40 hours a week. Okay. And I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And what I love about this job is that I tuck them in at night. Okay. I'm here to cook because that's another thing that I love. I love to cook. Okay. And I cook for them. I put them to bed. And in the morning, I want to see them before I go to work. To me, that is success. For other people, probably not. Okay. I have everything. Yes. But this is my everything. Why? Because if I drop dead right now in front of you guys, guess what? The fancy watch, I'm not taking it. The fancy cars that I have, I won't take it. The house, no way. What I would leave behind is how my family will remember me, how my children will remember me, how the person that I didn't know she existed, but I met her this morning will think about me. Okay, why? Because sometimes I have to go to the houses of the patients. House call. That's unheard of because doctors are too expensive to go to the house. Okay, and patients are more open to tell you things when you are in their environment and you get more information from them. And that's exactly what we want. Did I answer your questions, Malia?
Somewhat.
Okay, so yeah, I'm an OBGYN, but I'm basically semi-retired from OBGYN. I don't do surgeries, I don't do deliveries, and now I'm just an office doc.
And you
Make
said
sense?
you make house calls?
Yes, I go to check on patients, to file, to review charts and audit charts. Make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. What else? No more?
So I
Okay.
have a question.
Yes,
So
sir.
how did you manage your family life with going through and taking the USMLE? Did you get married and have your first kid during medical school or afterwards? And how did you manage that work to life balance?
I started having children 8 years ago. I'm 50. I had my first kid when I was 42. Okay, so it's interesting when you, in retrospect, you see what you did and how you did it. Okay, and it's a really good question, Noel. Okay, why? Because you want to have that perfect balance, and it's never there. To put an example, is like you try to drink water from a fire hose. That's the balance that you want. It's hard. You always have to give in for medicine because they are going to need you. And your parents will understand why, because they want you to succeed. But if you are married and you have children, that's difficult. Why? Because then you have to provide for them. Okay, so did I answer your question, Noel?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. What else, guys?
More on another question would be more on, do you have any wisdom as we're going through our own journey? What we can start doing to prepare for that lifestyle or any resources?
So basically, what I would recommend for you guys right now is these groups that you have are fantastic. Why? Because believe it or not, you're not alone in this trip, even though you think so, okay? Because you think, oh, I'm gonna be alone, I'm gonna be doing this. No, you're not alone. Create study groups. Why? Because the strength of one person in that group could be your weakness, and you balance each other, okay? Be 100% when you're in the group, okay? Don't be the slacker, let them do the stuff and you just collect. You can find many people in that way, you know, but be a participant, be a participant. Mhm. I didn't hear you.
I was like, wow, that's pretty useful. I know a lot of our classes, I especially study alone, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I used to study alone. Why? Because some people do that. And I used to, how can I say this? I didn't like to share. That was my problem, okay? Why? Because I had a big head. And I thought that I was the best on this planet. No, I wasn't. I was just selfish. And I had to learn that. I had to let it go. Because there are a bunch of people that are way, way, way smarter than you. And they can guide you. My wife, for example, she's amazing. Amazing. She's an OBGYN, okay? I tell you that. What else? Rodrigo told me that you are about to take your finals. Yeah? Okay. So what are you doing for fun?
Nothing.
Exactly, Malia. And do you think that's right?
No.
No. I'm not saying that you don't need to study. No, go ahead. Okay? But pay yourself first. Why? Because you need that mental breakdown. Because you need a break. Because you are there and you're like, yes, I'm vomiting everything that I know. But then when the tests come, you're so exhausted. I am not saying go to a party. No, absolutely not. Okay? But distribute your time. Okay? Today, I am going to study anatomy. Okay, upper extremity. Okay, hand. Okay, index finger. Okay? Make a plan. What you're gonna do. And in that plan, put a break. Huh? Oh God, someone put something in the chat. That's gonna be difficult, Rodrigo. I am a freshman this year. When should I start focusing on my MCAT? Okay.
If you want, I can just read questions if they come in.
Okay, that would be better because otherwise I'm gonna be typing and I wouldn't.
Yeah, of course.
Bella, I think it would say now. Definitely now. Actually, yesterday. MCATs are difficult and depends on your score where you want to go. Okay. I hope I answered that. All right. What else?
Sorry. Did you do medical school in Ecuador? Is that what you said?
Yes, I did my medical school in Ecuador. Yes.
Okay. How was that? I'm thinking about foreign medical
school. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So perfect. Here you have 4 years on, then you go for 4 years to med school, correct? In Ecuador, you are, actually, I entered med school when I was 18. And I graduated when I was 24, 25. Yeah. So medical school there is divided in the first 3 years is theory. You don't touch anyone. Well, you touch dead people, yes, in anatomy, okay? Because you have to learn, and it was a totally different approach as the approach that we have now, okay? Here you have your anatomy lab that basically you don't have, well, I think that you have dead bodies, correct? Yeah, you have dead bodies, but they are very, very well prepared. In my country, they were not. I had to prepare them, if you know what I mean. So you have to learn your stuff with your classmates, okay? Why? Because they used to give us, for example, like I said, an upper extremity, left arm, and we have to prepare the left arm. We have to do the dissection. We have to do the dissection for each muscle, for the nerve, for the blood vessels and everything. And when we are done with that, we stripped everything and we go to the bones. Now you have everything prepared for you guys. You see the advantage that you have? And I know that probably you guys are overwhelmed. And it's true. And that's why, Malia, I said, you need a break. Okay? 15 minutes in every hour, take a break. Okay? Play something that will distract your brain, but will not make it addictive. Okay? No video games. Hell no. That's too much for your brain. Okay? Do something that you like. Go for a walk. Clear your mind. Right? Just get out of the room. Just go and drink. Talk. If you live at home with your parents, that would be the best therapy in this time. Cherish your parents. Because you don't know it until you lost them, how precious they are. Because they will never do anything bad for you. I remember my beloved mom. She used to come in. I used to live with at home while in med school. She used to come in at around 2 or 3 in the morning and just open the door and said, "Oh my God, come on, boy, are you hungry?" Those are beautiful things that will be in my memory forever. Okay? As I told you, actions are better than words sometimes. All right? What else?
I think a great thing that we would like to hear as well is, do you have any interesting stories from when you were OBGYN or throughout medical school?
Okay. Interesting stories. Okay, interesting stories like funny or challenging.
Whatever comes to mind.
Well, okay. Well, I trained in Indiana University. Okay, Indiana University is located in Indianapolis, and Indiana at that time was or had one of the highest levels of obesity in the country. Okay, so it was not unusual for us to have patients that were 300, 400, 450 pounds and wanted to become pregnant. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. Why? Because those ovaries are made out of steel. And if they have to ovulate, man, you have to be a tank. So, and when the husband is another 400-pound man, so it's quite interesting. I remember that this couple came in and they were in my office and the chairs were not big enough for both of them. So I make them sit in the examining table. But it was 750 pounds in the examining table. And the examining table was going click, 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 click. Okay. And the lady said, "Oh my God, we're gonna break your table." And that's what I wanted. Because she realized, damn, we are too heavy. I said, perfect. The first step is always the most difficult step in anything you do. But once you accept what you don't want to, it becomes easy. Okay. So she said, "So now what are we going to do?" I said, "Well, do you think that your body is ready to have a child, to be pregnant? Because boys, you don't know what a woman goes through when she becomes pregnant. Girls, may God bless you, okay? Why? Because all the changes that go in that body are a simple miracle, okay? Because you create a being. We give only the information, okay? Like my wife says, you just give me the information, I make the baby. And she made 2. My wife in my 2 kids has lost and gained between 90 to 100 pounds, back and forth, okay? So, yeah, you're laughing. It's hard, okay? So she accepted that and she realized, okay, yes, I am too heavy. How do I get better? Okay, at that point, she didn't know that she was diabetic. She didn't know that she had heart problems. She was a mess. So that was a preconceptional encounter and counseling. Both of them got into exercise program, diet program. Finally, they, because of the severity of their things, they went into bariatric surgery. And they came up when she was weighing 280 pounds. And then she became pregnant. And I delivered that little baby. That little baby was 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Yeah, it was good. So those are the challenging things that sometimes is very hard for you to tell the patient, hey, how do I tell you that you're fat without you getting upset? Another one is smoking. Okay, so many people smoke knowing what it does to your body. But until they realize that they are doing something wrong, they are not going to change. They have to realize, yes, I am killing myself with the sin. I need to quit. And then you said, oh, I have a plan for you. Let's do it together. Okay, that's the way.
And I'm more than sure it must feel like super satisfying to see a patient get better and actually, like the patient you were talking about, get better and actually get pregnant.
There are so many satisfactions in this career. Okay, it is very, very satisfying career. It's crushing when you have bad outcomes. Okay, and is that continue up and down like a bipolar disorder? Okay, that you have to manage. And sometimes people cannot, and they get burned. I don't know if you heard about that. They get burned and they are like, I'm done. I'm not gonna do this again. And they drop the towel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're reaching to the 6 o'clock time. But what you said with the burning out, for example, I tend to burn myself out when I study too much or when I stress out too much. So
that's why I said take a break.
Is that
take a break? Like, my goal is when I used to study for tests, if I show you, I have my library over there. Okay. I study for tests. I used to do 45 minutes straight, but I was in. Okay. And I used to take 15 minutes to take a break and then come back for another 45 minutes. Okay. Do whatever you need to do. You don't want to talk with anyone, go for a walk. Okay. Then come back and refresh, oxygenate yourself. Okay.
Yeah. And
I hope that I gave you a little glimpse of what beautiful medicine is, but how challenging it will be for you guys. Okay. Not only because you are going to put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of years, economically, mentally, spiritually, but it's a beautiful career. Okay. Oh boy, I hope I did something good here.
No, you definitely did, and thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your stories. You made me laugh a lot throughout this meeting. So
that's good. That's good. I hope that it helps you. And again, I imagine that you have my email. If you have any questions, if I can guide you with anything, more than happy. More than happy.
Would it actually be okay if I drop your email down for our members to maybe email you if they have any questions?
Sure. Why not? Remember, I didn't have this. Okay.
Let me send that real quick.
The best thing for you guys is to be happy, because when you're supposed to get into a residency in which you chose that, and I bet that you're not going to choose something to be unhappy. For every day you wake up and like, oh crap, I have to go back to that place. Oh my God, what am I going to do? No, it's not. Okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you
you
so much.
guys, you take care. God bless you above all. Okay. And if you have any questions, just give me a call. I hope we can repeat this. I like it.
Yeah, it would
Okay.
be fun. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for coming.
much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys. You be safe.
Bye.
Bye
Have a good
Merry
night.
Christmas.
God bless.
bye. God bless you too. Bye.